So last night, I get an email from Joe Carey, who's up in the disaster for Mercury One, and we have a couple of people at Mercury One. And these trucks came to Coney Island. Coney Island, we found a church in Coney Island that is in the worst part of this. I mean, you've seen the pictures of Coney Island. I mean, it's decimated. And we found this church, and Mercury One yesterday met with the religious leaders on Coney Island last night, and they were supposed to take place at 5:00, but because of what is going on, it took them at least till 7:00. And as they pull up into this one neighborhood, there's at least a dozen police cars with flashing lights. The police officers are stationed at almost every corner, and they've got lights up and generators and everything else. And when he goes into the church, it's dark. They don't have any power. They went inside. A group of religious leaders are sitting there around a table with a bunch of candles lit. And the religious leaders started talking about things that are not on television. And they started saying, this is collapsing into chaos. This is there's a local supermarket that has been looted right down the street, and nobody could stop them. They said the pharmacy was almost immediately overrun by thugs, and they took all of the medicine out of the pharmacy. And when I say medicine, I mean drugs. And then they said they have received several calls from members of the church who had boarded themselves in their own apartments and are afraid to come out because of these roving gangs of kids, which are now already being named wolf packs. And they're terrorizing the neighborhood. And they said nobody's telling this story. And the guys from Mercury One said, well, why isn't anybody telling the story? And they said, because you're the first help we have seen. There hasn't been anybody come in. The Red Cross hasn't come in. FEMA hasn't come in. Nobody is coming in. You have the police on the corners, but we are one of the hardest hits, and nobody is coming in. I got a video. They asked if they could make a video for you to thank you, and so they're in the dark with these candles and this, just a cell phone video of one of the leaders saying, "Thank you, thank you, thank you." I told you about this, and we have some pictures that we're going to show you on television tonight. But it's remarkable what's going on, and this is why I said last night we don't know the full extent of this yet, and it's going to be a while, and we're going to have to get past politics before you really hear the full extent. But it's going to be a long, long time before New Jersey gets back. And when you start to hear the truth on what's really happening on the ground, I mean, there are parts of it that are just as bad as Katrina was. As far as looting and it's just bad. It's just really bad. But for some reason, I think the press doesn't want to show this in a bad light for Barack Obama. If it was George Bush, they'd be all over it, but they're not, and so people are suffering. Yesterday, I told you about how we were trying to raise some money through Mercury One and our disaster relief fund. Now, if you go to mercury1.com and you donate, that will go into a general fund, which will pay for all kinds of different things, all the way from libraries to hospitals to cancer research, all kinds of different things. And, you can find out what we do online. But there is one button there. It's donate. It's the big button right on the front. It says Mercury One Disaster Relief Fund. Every dollar of that disaster relief, every dollar you donate goes directly to these communities. In fact, I got an email from Joe last night, and he was in Coney Island, and he said, Glenn, I had to find an apartment. It was so late. All right, not an apartment, but a hotel. And he said, I got a hotel room, and which thank you very much for your credit card. And Tanya and I pay for all of that. We don't take anything like that out of this disaster fund. I pay for all of that. If he needed to rent a car, I paid for it. We take care of it. So your dollars go directly to the people that can make a difference in their community. There are 20 churches. They've just received 2 truckloads, which I think was about $100,000 worth of stuff. And they don't know this yet, but they've got about another $150,000 coming towards them, because when we found out last night that they have 20 churches just in that area that are just begging for help. Nothing is being sent their way yet. And I mean, you talk about it all you want, that, oh, gee, the government and FEMA and all that. It is us. And it is the churches that do it. And there are churches that are in need, and they are closest to the people. All we have to do is get the trucks to them. We've made a commitment to Coney Island in this area, and there are others that we're looking into now, and we'll tell you in the next couple of days. But we've raised $232,157 in the last 2 days. And I would ask that if you have any money, that you would go online and you would go to mercury1.com and you would donate to the Disaster Relief Fund and help us raise a lot more than that to be able to get that money to these churches so they can help people who are right there on the front line and are, quite honestly, frightened, boarding themselves in their own homes, and they feel terribly alone. Help us let them know you're not alone. Go to mercury1.com right now and donate to our Disaster Relief Fund. Let's show the rest of America who we really are and our values.